हेलो, नमस्ते। मेरा नाम प्रत्यूषा है और मैंने इस साल 908 रैंक अचीव किया है यूपीएससी सिविल सर्विसेज 2025 में और ये मेरा 5th अटेम्प्ट है और 5th अटेम्प्ट में मुझे 908 रैंक मिला है। तो आज मैं जर्नी, प्रिपरेशन, स्ट्रैटेजी ये सारी चीज़ें शेयर करने वाली हूँ आप लोगों से और बैकग्राउंड से शुरू करते हैं। माय बैकग्राउंड इज़ मेडिसिन बैकग्राउंड। मैंने एमबीबीएस किया है। मैंने 2019 में पास आउट किया है एमबीबीएस और एमबीबीएस पास करने के बाद मैंने यूपीएससी प्रिपरेशन करना शुरू किया है और ज़्यादातर लोगों को पता ही होगा कि एमबीबीएस स्टूडेंट्स को सीसैट में दिक्कत होती है। मुझे हर साल सीसैट में दिक्कत हुई थी। हर साल मतलब हर साल। मेरा लगभग 3 अटेम्प्ट्स सीसैट में ही मैं सीसैट में ही फ़ेल हुई थी और वो भी एक एक सवाल से, 0.1 मार्क्स से, 1.01 मार्क्स से। 1 साल से मैं तो अ, एक क्वेश्चन ही ड्रॉप हो गया था यूपीएससी ने ही एक सवाल ड्रॉप कर दिया था और उस साल मैं बॉर्डर में थी और मेरा नहीं हुआ। मेरा जीएस हमेशा क्लियर हुआ था, लेकिन सीसैट से दिक्कत हो रही थी मुझे और मैंने 2021 में पहली बार सिविल सर्विसेज इंटरव्यू दिया है। उस साल मेरा मेंस इतना स्ट्रांग नहीं था और मैंने उसके बाद लगातार प्रीलिम्स फेल किया है और अब जाके 2025 में मेरा प्रीलिम्स इंक्लूडिंग सीसैट क्लियर हुआ है और इस साल मुझे रैंक भी मिला है। ये था मेरी जर्नी इन शॉर्ट और अब स्ट्रैटेजी की बारी। मैं इस सारे कमेंट्स का जवाब दूँगी बाद में, पहले स्ट्रैटेजी शेयर कर लूँ। अ, तो पहले प्रीलिम्स की बात कर लेते हैं। प्रीलिम्स में बहुत ज़्यादा अनसर्टेनिटी है। देयर इज़ अ लॉट ऑफ अनसर्टेनिटी इन प्रीलिम्स वी आर सीइंग दीज़ डेज़ और मैं तो बोलती हूँ मेरा जीएस स्ट्रॉन्ग है, तो हम प्रीलिम स्ट्रैटेजी को 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करते हैं, जीएस और सीसैट। सीसैट तो मुझे लगता है मुझसे अच्छा बेटर एक्सपीरियंस्ड पर्सन कोई मिल नहीं सकता आप लोगों को सीसैट के बारे में बात करने के लिए क्योंकि आई हैव बीन द बिगेस्ट विक्टिम ऑफ सीसैट। तो विल टॉक अबाउट इट इन 2 पार्ट्स। जीएस के बारे में तो मैं यही बोलूँगी कि अनसर्टेनिटी तो है। तो मैंने क्या फ़ॉलो किया है, मैंने हमेशा अपना स्टैटिक पोर्शन स्ट्रॉन्ग रखा है। मैंने 2-3 रिविज़न्स किया है जीएस और म मुझे स्ट्रेंथ्स और वीकनेसेस पता है। मेरी स्ट्रेंथ है पॉलिटी, ज्योग्राफी, एनवायरनमेंट एंड इकोलॉजी, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी और वीकनेस हिस्ट्री, मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री इज़ माय वीकनेस, इकोनॉमी इज़ माय वीकनेस। तो मैंने क्या किया है, वीकनेस पे वर्क किया है और स्ट्रेंथ को और स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाया है। और मैंने टेस्ट भी बहुत सारे दिए हैं। टेस्ट सीरीज़ बहुत करती थी मैं और टेस्ट सीरीज़ पेपर्स को एक बार सॉल्व करने के बाद, की देखने के बाद मैं 1 हफ्ते बाद दोबारा उसी पेपर को रिवाइज़ करती थी। क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि हम 2 घंटे लगाएँगे पेपर सॉल्व करने में और उसके बाद 3 और घंटे लग जाएँगे उस पेपर के सॉल्यूशंस देखने में। और ये 5 घंटे ना अगर इन 5 घंटों को हमने दोबारा रिवाइज़ नहीं किया, ये 5 घंटे वेस्ट हो जाएँगे। मैं दिस इज़ माय ओपिनियन। आई ऑलवेज़ बिलीव्ड दैट यू हैव टू रिवाइज़ ऑल द पेपर्स यू हैव सॉल्व्ड क्योंकि अगर आप उठाओ, जो भी पेपर आपने सॉल्व किया था, आप उठाओ 1 हफ्ते बाद और यू स्टार्ट मार्क रीडिंग द पेपर एंड सेम क्वेश्चन पेपर एंड मार्किंग द आंसर्स, ज़्यादातर तुम दोबारा वही गलती दोहराओगे। तो मुझे लगा था कि मुझे टेस्ट सीरीज़ के पेपर्स रिवाइज़ भी करने हैं। तो आई हैव रिवाइज्ड माय टेस्ट सीरीज़ पेपर्स, मैंने टेस्ट बहुत लगाए हैं और मैंने स्टैटिक मुझे हमेशा लगता है कि जो भी स्टैटिक पे बैंक करता है सिविल सर्विसेज प्रीलिम्स में, मुझे लगता है उसका प्रीलिम्स फेल होने के चांसेस बहुत कम होंगे क्योंकि स्टैटिक में हम अवॉइडेबल मिस्टेक्स अवॉइड कर सकते हैं स्टैटिक को स्ट्रांग रखने से और करंट का तो हर कोई पढ़ता है, हर करंट अफेयर्स मैगजीन्स एंड ऑल। तो मेरा ये स्ट्रैटेजी है, मैं टेस्ट बहुत देती थी और टेस्ट पेपर्स रिवाइज करती थी और मैं बहुत एनालिसिस करती थी टेस्ट पेपर्स को। जैसे कि मैं हमेशा जब भी मैं टेस्ट सॉल्व करती हूँ, बहुत सारे टॉपर्स ने भी बताया होगा आप लोगों को कि मैं जब भी टेस्ट सॉल्व करती हूँ, मैं अपने क्वेश्चन पेपर में ही सिंबल्स बनाती थी। जैसे कि अगर मुझे 100% एक क्वेश्चन का जवाब पता है, ऐसा लगता है, तो मैं सर्कल मार्क करती थी। अगर मैं 50-50 2 ऑप्शंस में फँस गई, तो मैं स्क्वायर मार्क करती थी। अगर मैं सिर्फ़ एक ऑप्शन एलिमिनेट कर पाई, तो मैं E1 लिखती थी। तो इससे क्या होता है, मैं जब मेरा एग्ज़ाम खत्म होता है और मैं स्कोर देख लेती हूँ, उसके बाद मैं बैठ के 15-20 मिनट तक का एक एनालिसिस करती हूँ। इसमें क्या पता चलता है, सी देयर विल बी क्वेश्चंस वेयर यू विल थिंक यू नो द आंसर, 100% इसका जवाब मुझे पता है, फिर भी यू विल एंड अप मार्किंग दैट आंसर राइट। इट कुड बी ड्यू टू ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस, इट कुड बी ड्यू टू लैक ऑफ रिविजन्स, इट कुड बी ड्यू टू माइंड ब्लॉक आल्सो समटाइम्स। तो मैं क्या करती थी, आई यूज्ड टू टेक अ स्टिक नोट, पुट इट ऑन दैट ओएमआर शीट, जिस ओएमआर शीट पे मैं एग्ज़ाम लिखती थी, उसी ओएमआर शीट में एक स्टिक नोट बनाती थी और वहाँ पे लिखती थी 100% कॉन्फिडेंट क्वेश्चंस में कितने सही हुए हैं, कितने गलत हुए हैं। 50-50 सवाल क्वेश्चंस में कितने सही है, कितने गलत है। तो इससे क्या होता है, अ, देखो यूपीएससी सिविल सर्विसेज फाइनल एग्ज़ाम में ऐसा होता है कि देयर आर सो मेनी क्वेश्चंस वेयर यू कैनॉट गेट दैट करेज टू मार्क द आंसर, क्योंकि टेस्ट सीरीज में तो सारे थीम्स रिपीट होते रहते हैं। यूपीएससी ऐसा नहीं करता है, यूपीएससी में बहुत सारे नए क्वेश्चंस देखने को मिलेंगे आपको, तो वो हिम्मत मिलती है। आई वुड से यू विल गेट दैट करेज टू मार्क द आंसर बिकॉज व्हेन यू नो योर एक्यूरेसी। 50-50 क्वेश्चंस में इफ आई टेक अ सेट ऑफ 5 क्वेश्चंस, मेरे 3 सही होते थे, 2 गलत होते थे। तो ये मैंने टेस्ट सीरीज दे के पैटर्न एनालिसिस करके एक कंक्लूजन पे पहुंच गई थी कि अच्छा ठीक है, मैं रिस्क ले सकती हूँ 50-50 भी। और एलिमिनेटेड वन ऑप्शन में मेरा बहुत कम सही होते थे, तो मैं एलिमिनेटेड वन ऑप्शन के पास ज़्यादातर उन सवालों को मैं स्किप कर देती थी। तो ये एनालिसिस करती थी और पेपर रिवीजन करती थी और स्टैटिक बहुत स्ट्रांग रखती थी। और मैं अगर प्रीलिम से पहले अगर मुझे कुछ पढ़ने का मन नहीं कर रहा हो, तो मैं ऐसा करती थी कि मैं वीडियो लगा देती हूँ। यूट्यूब में बहुत सारे वीडियोज़ मिलेंगे आप लोगों को। वो वीडियो ऑन करके मैं बस 2x पे सुनती थी। मैं सोते वक़्त भी वही वीडियोज़ लगा के सोती थी, क्योंकि मैं बस मुझे लगता है ना कि जो हर किसी को पता होगा वो हम गलत नहीं कर सकते। अगर किसी को भी पता नहीं है तो तुम गलत मार्क कर सकते हो। जैसे कि यूजुअली सीनियर एस्पिरेंट्स दे आर वेरी स्ट्रांग विद देयर स्टैटिक, दे डोंट बैंक ऑन देयर करंट अफेयर्स। तो मुझे लगता है कि स्टैटिक तो हर किसी को आना चाहिए, और 15,000 लोगों को तो स्टैटिक आता ही होगा। 7 लाख, if 7 lakhs are applying, 15,000 must be strong with static. Why should I be that 15,001 person not knowing static? तो जो सबको आता है वो तो आना ही चाहिए, दैट इज़ नॉन नेगोशिएबल। So, this is my prelim strategy. I solved a lot of test series. I used to revise my test series. I used to analyze my test papers, and I used to strengthen my weak areas. I used to further strengthen my strong areas as well. This is my prelim strategy. एक मिनट मुझे comments देखने दीजिए। मैं आई विल डेफिनेटली आंसर ऑल योर क्वेश्चंस। हाँ, तो प्रीलिम्स का बुक लिस्ट तो हर किसी के पास, आई मीन इट इज़ अवेलेबल एवरीवेयर ऑन यूट्यूब और इट्स अवेलेबल एवरीवेयर ऑन गूगल, दैट द सेम स्टैंडर्ड बुक लिस्ट, इसमें कुछ अलग नहीं है। अगर इफ़ यू आई मीन मेरे हिसाब से प्रीलिम्स में वन थिंग कैन सेव यू विद दोस मार्जिन ऑफ 2 मार्क्स और समथिंग फ्रॉम दैट कट ऑफ। जब जहाँ तक मुझे पता है ज़्यादातर लोगों का एक सवाल से या एक मार्क्स, एक आध मार्क नंबर से रह जाता है प्रीलिम्स। तो उसमें मेरा क्या है, माय एडवाइस इज़ डेवलप दैट इंक्विजिटिवनेस। वो क्यूरियोसिटी होनी चाहिए कि क्या है, इसके आगे क्या है। बुक किताब में तो 2-3 लाइन ही होगा पेपर में। उस यू नीड टू थिंक बियॉन्ड दैट। अगर इस डायमेंशन से एक और सवाल आ गया तो मैं कैसा अटेम्प्ट करूँगा। तो आई यूज्ड टू बी दैट इंक्विजिटिव पर्सन। मेरे लैपटॉप पे बहुत सारे टैब्स खुले हुए थे। बिफोर इवन द डे बिफोर आई वेंट टू प्रीलिम्स ऑल्सो आई वाज रिसर्चिंग ऑन अ लॉट ऑफ टॉपिक्स। मैं रिसर्च नहीं बोलूँगी, लेकिन इट इज़ माई इंक्विजिटिवनेस की इसी इंक्विजिटिवनेस से मेरे बहुत सारे सवाल सही हुए थे। जैसे कि मैं 2021 में जब मैंने प्रीलिम्स दिया था, उस साल मेरा प्रीलिम्स भी हो गया, मैं इंटरव्यू तक पहुँच गई। उस साल मैं बस रैंडमली I was sitting in my room, I was studying, I was looking at that, what do you say, my mosquito repellent. मुझे लगा कि क्या इंग्रेडिएंट्स हो सकते हैं? तो मैंने गूगल किया, उसमें मुझे यूजुअली मिला है कि जब मैं आर्टिकल्स पढ़ रही थी, मुझे मिला था कि लेमन ग्रास इज़ यूजुअली यूज्ड एज़ एन इंसेक्ट रिपेलेंट। वही सवाल आया था यूपीएससी में। तो मैं ये बोलती हूँ, सिचुएशनल अवेयरनेस रखिए और इंक्विजिटिवनेस, दीज़ आर द 2 थिंग्स आई वुड सजेस्ट फॉर प्रीलिम्स। और बुक लिस्ट का तो सबको पता है, मेरे पास कोई अलग बुक लिस्ट नहीं है, जो सबने पढ़ा है मैंने भी वही पढ़ा है। हाँ, I'll come back to comments। ये मेरा प्रीलिम स्ट्रैटेजी है, दिस वाज माय प्रीलिम स्ट्रैटेजी। नाउ कमिंग टू मेंस। मेंस का मैं तो 3 चीज़ों पे कॉन्संट्रेट कर रही थी मैं। एक है एसे, एक है ऑप्शनल और एक है एथिक्स। फॉर्च्यूनेटली इन 3 पेपर्स में मेरे नंबर सही आए और एथिक्स में नहीं, एसे में आई स्कोर्ड 116, ऑप्शनल आई स्कोर्ड, माय ऑप्शनल इज एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, आई स्कोर्ड 275 एंड इन ethics I scored 108 or 109, I don't remember the accurate number. So I focused on these three, but I would still suggest people start focusing on GS also. I believe writing more number of answers is important. पेपर टाइम पे खत्म करना, सारे सवालों का जवाब देना is equally important, and also addressing the demand of the question. This is also very important. Addressing the demand of the question is a different theory altogether. उसका उसमें टाइम लगेगा उसको एक्सप्लेन करने में, मैं शॉर्टली एक्सप्लेन कर देती हूँ। एड्रेस करने में वो डायरेक्टिव वर्ड देखना होता है। और आई ऑलवेज फॉलोड दिस कि इफ द क्वेश्चन इज 10 मार्कर, अगर मुझे कुछ भी नहीं आता हो तो आई विल राइट 10 पॉइंट्स एटलीस्ट इन दैट क्वेश्चन। अगर मुझे कुछ ज्यादा आता है तो मैं 12-15 पॉइंट्स लिखूंगी, चाहे वो 10 मार्कर ही क्यों ना हो। I'll write 12 to 15 points, and in a 15 marker I would write 20 points. I mean, not 20 points at a go, but under different subheadings. Key challenges, achievements, measures to be taken, measures that have already been taken by government, and at the same time contemporary relevance. ऐसे करती थी। और मैं ये भी करती थी, आई यूज टू राइट अ लॉट ऑफ टेस्ट सीरीज, और मैं मॉडल आंसर से आंसर्स कंपेयर करती थी, वैल्यू एडिशन, कांस्टेंट वैल्यू एडिशन। जीएस वन में स्कोप है, नंबर बढ़ाने का स्कोप है। इट इज यूजुअली स्टैटिक, कुछ ज्यादा एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करते। डिफिकल्टी कम्स इन जीएस 3। जीएस 3 इज अ वेरी डायनामिक पेपर, एंड ऑल्सो जीएस 3 में नंबर भी बहुत कम मिलता है। तो I focused more on GS1, 2. 2 was my strong area. GS4 is ethics. That is my strong area again. Ethics के लिए I would suggest one thing. This is a time tested strategy. इसने हमेशा हर टॉपर के साथ वर्क किया है ये स्ट्रैटेजी। मुझे तो लगता है इससे बढ़कर कोई कुछ भी नहीं है एथिक्स के लिए। The strategy is you need to sit and solve previous year's questions. वैसे तो हर जीएस पेपर पे ये अप्लाई होता है, लेकिन मैं पर्सनली जब मैं 2021 मेंस मैंने दिया था, तब मुझे एक मैम ने बताया, मैम वाज माय मेंटर। मैम ने बोला कि मैंने मैम से बोला, मैम मुझे डर लगता है एथिक्स से। तो मैम ने बोला, मैं आई टेक 15 डेज टाइम, सॉल्व ऑल द लास्ट 10 ईयर पेपर्स ऑफ एथिक्स, तुम बस आंसर्स लिख लो। और दैट ईयर आई रोट एथिक्स, दैट ईयर आई गेव मेंस। I wrote all the 10 years papers, previous years questions, case studies, वो theory answers सारे लिखे थे मैंने। और that year I scored one of the few highest scores in ethics, because that year ethics score was not too high. My score was one among the highest scores. तो मैं ये बोलती हूँ कि इस साल भी मैंने वही किया है। प्रीवियस ईयर्स क्वेश्चंस थीम्स रिपीट होते हैं एथिक्स में, वही सैंड माइनिंग, वही फूड अडल्ट्रेशन, वही कंस्ट्रक्शन माफिया, that the same conflict of interest, the same natural calamity, and the officer is not able to leave his duty and not attend his personal obligations and all. तो सारे themes repeat होते हैं। I mean, I think there is a minor variation only, not major variation in the themes of case studies and theories. So if you write more PYQs, it will be sorted. So GS 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 भी PYQs कर लो। और art of answer writing, that is very important. You need to have a proper structuring for introduction, body, conclusion, and if the questions are repeating, for example, you'll either get SHG, you'll either get NGOs. So for questions like this, governor, yeah, usually governor question is very frequent in polity. So for questions like this, have a standard template. In introduction, either write article number. Article number is, I believe, the best. There is no contradiction to it. You can write a article number. So I would say you have a specific set of templates with you. Templates for introduction and conclusion. इससे क्या होता है, your time बच जाता है एग्जाम में, कि you don't sit in the exam hall and think what should I write now. When you know the themes of previous year's questions, you know what theme UPSC has repeated this year. If that is sorted, I don't see any problem in developing templates. If you analyze PYQs, you'll know that. So that is for mains. Or optional. Optional though, again, depending on your optional, write good number of tests, have proper structuring. I mean, मैंने preparation में I think I have used a lot of chat GPT. I've used a lot of perplexity. मैंने बहुत यूज़ किया है, and I took all the latest updates in my optional anthropology from chat GPT. And now coming to interview preparation. सी सैट एक्सपीरियंस मैं बताना नहीं भूली थी, मैंने बता दिया है. मैं बहुत I come from a medicine. I've come from medical background and CSAT was very difficult for me. मैंने एक काम किया है. अच्छा ठीक है, मैं CSAT के बारे में बता ही देती हूँ. तो CSAT में मैंने ये किया है कि I have analyzed which topic has the highest weightage. The topic is number system. And मैंने ये भी analyze किया है कि my logical reasoning part is strong, my comprehension reading passage reading is strong. तो मैंने ये किया है कि मैंने नंबर सिस्टम स्ट्रॉन्ग कर लिया है. नंबर सिस्टम, और मैंने PYQs, CSAT में PYQs आर अगेन नॉन नेगोशिएबल. तो मैंने PYQs सॉल्व किया है, मैंने नंबर सिस्टम स्ट्रॉन्ग रखा है. मैं आई टुक अ फ्यू कोर्सेस फ्रॉम सूनिया IAS से मैंने एक कोर्स किया है. वो CSAT का पूरा कोर्स है वो. इट स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम बेसिक. तो मैंने वो कोर्स किया है. मैंने एवरी डे आई प्रैक्टिस CSAT. और मैंने PYQs भी मैंने PYQs भी लगाया है. मैंने टेस्ट सीरीज भी दिया है. और टाइम मैनेजमेंट भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है CSAT पेपर में. टाइम नहीं बचता है, तो मैं 30 मिनट्स देती थी. 30 मिनट्स फॉर रीडिंग कॉम्प्रहेंशंस, 30 मिनट्स फॉर लॉजिकल रीजनिंग, 30 मिनट्स फॉर मैथ. और आफ्टर दिस 1.5 hour, I again come back to the questions which I thought I could do, but मुझसे उसी टाइम में नहीं हो पाया. तो this is for CSAT. You write more number of tests, and previous year's questions are very important, and you get a lot of questions from number system. Please work on number system. और permutation combinations से भी सवाल आते हैं, लेकिन there are again various levels in these questions. जैसे कि few questions are easily doable, few questions are very difficult. Don't go to the questions which are very difficult to solve. Try to grab the low hanging fruit. In my opinion, low hanging fruits are also there in logical reasoning. There are a lot of low hanging fruits in logical reasoning. If you can focus on LR, I think that will fetch you good number of marks. And reading passages. Reading passages में मैं तो ये बोलूँगी कि don't go to complicated passages. You'll मतलब you find a lot of tips and tricks on YouTube. Trust me, most of them are right. ऐसा है कि यूजुअली ज़्यादातर पैसेज में एक्सट्रीम स्टेटमेंट्स गलत होते हैं. वो सही, सच में वो गलत ही होते हैं. एंड द स्टेटमेंट विच इज एक्चुअली टॉकिंग अबाउट द पैसेज इन क्रिस्प, जैसे कि if there are 4 statements and one statement is summarizing what is actually given, or it is giving the bird's eye view of the content given in the passage, ज़्यादातर वो statements सही होते हैं. If you can actually grab those low hanging fruits in CSAT, I don't think CSAT should be a huge difficulty. And I always tell you, because I have been there, मैंने देखा है, I know how it feels to be in the border. And हमेशा जब भी मैं border पे थी, हमेशा मेरा prelims नहीं हुआ है. तो I would say keep a margin, have accuracy, high accuracy. CSAT में ज़्यादा more number of questions attempt करने से ये अच्छा है कि keep your accuracy more. Even if you are attempting 35 questions, try to attempt those questions with more accuracy. क्योंकि if the paper is lengthy, you can't do anything. तो हड़बड़ी में don't do anything in CSAT. Just have patience, divide your time very wisely, and if possible, do the same thing. Give 30 minutes to reading comprehension, 30 minutes to passages, logical reasoning, 30 minutes to math, and last half an hour for those questions which you couldn't finish in the given time. And don't go to questions that is taking your time for more than 2.5 minutes, especially in math, because you also need to know what you have to avoid. So this is for CSAT. And what else? I spoke about my main strategy as well. Mostly is about previous year's questions, having standard templates for topics which I have analyzed from previous year's questions, and writing test series, reading model answers, doing value addition. And this is my main strategy. और कि फिजिक्स ऑप्शनल के बारे में तो मुझे ज़्यादा कुछ पता नहीं है. आई थिंक maybe you should talk to somebody with the physics optional, because I don't know people with physics optional in my circle also. Read new NCRTs. I mean, read new NCRTs at the same time. Do previous year's questions. You'll understand which theme is important, what is the current update also. And don't leave previous year's questions for prelims also. PYQs is the only thing that is going to help you sail through in this exam. I would suggest read new NCRTs, because if you go and show UPSC that it is given in old NCRT, UPSC will say, we said NCRTs, new NCRTs. We would obviously give you the updated content, not the old content. Preferably read new ones. And if it is history, I would say read both. Disaster management is usually not given in prelims, in my opinion. Disaster management is a mains topic. I think disaster management तो नहीं आता है शायद. Disaster, you'll have the names of disasters and they'll ask you what is this or where this came from. Okay, I got it. Disaster management as a topic is a mains topic, but disasters are given in names of disasters, and the characteristics of disasters are given in prelims. उसके लिए तो you can follow current affairs. You have current affairs magazines, you have newspapers, so I think you can cover it from them. And what else? Revision strategy. Madhusudan has asked for revision strategy. Okay. Prelims. I hope you're asking for prelims, but I'll cover all two, prelims and mains. For prelims, I would say pick up a book, sit with that book, have a target. In this day or by the end of this day, I'll finish this part. इतना मैं पढ़ लूंगी आज. You finish it off that day. And after that, I would say, if you have revised first, if your first revision is done today, or you have learned a topic today, for example, let's start from learning. If you have learned a topic today, I would say open that book, open the same topic after 3 days, read it again. It improves retention. And after a week, we have this 1 3 7 14 and 21 strategy. First day when you read it, you'll retain it, and when you revise it on third day, you'll retain 40-50% of it. Seventh day when you read it again, you'll retain 70% of it, 70-75% of it. And when you read it on 14th day, you'll probably retain 80 to 90% of it. And when you read it on the 21st day, you'll retain 100% of it, because when you read certain thing multiple times, there is a very highly likely chance that you retain it for longer time. And now coming to before prelims revision strategy, I would say don't take a book and sit for revising the book. I would say revise chapters. I mean, this is my personal opinion. I have done this because, for example, there are high weightage topics in prelims. For example, in polity, I don't take the entire book of polity and मैं नहीं बैठ जाऊंगी कि मैं इस किताब को मुझे 3 बार रिवाइज करना है. No, I don't do that. I pick up certain topics. For example, I take constitutional bodies today. I do not constitutional bodies. And also, for example, if there is something confusing to you in your preparation, make that effort. I would say make that effort, because every effort you put in actually counts in this exam. I would say the pain you go through when you make the effort is far less than the pain you face when you see no result found in that PDF. That is very painful, and that trauma will be carried with you for next 2 to 3 years of your life. That मैंने पढ़ाई की है, मेरा नाम नहीं आया list में. Instead of doing this, I would say don't leave any stone unturned. सब कर लो. सब कर लो, whatever this exam demands, do it, because I'm telling you, if you are not doing it, somebody else is doing it, and इस देश में population की कमी नहीं है. If you are not doing it, UPSC will take somebody else, because there are 7 lakh students who are sitting for prelims. So if there is something confusing, I had a different chart for myself. I had a chart in which I used to write down names of constitutional authorities, and I used to make columns. What is the retirement age, what is the tenure, what is the term, who is appointing them. I used to have this tabular format, so that जब भी मैं किताब खोलती थी, जब भी I used to read book, I used to remember, but the moment I close the book and write a test, I'll not remember. For this purpose, I made a different chart on my iPad, and I kept revising it. So what I'm trying to convey is, if something is confusing you, try to make out a simpler way so that you can retain it. Don't leave it like that, because I'm sure everybody sitting in this chat room must be knowing how important point 1 mark is also in this exam. So why should you leave any stone unturned? So that is what I wanted to tell you. Revision strategy: pick high weightage topics. Now that I believe you have 50 days or something for your prelims, so pick high weightage topics, revise those 2 to 3 times, and I would say find questions from the same high weightage topics in PYQs, find questions in test series, and analyze where you're going wrong. And I would say revise your test papers at regular intervals, because your test papers cover 100 topics. For example, if you're writing a full length test, it covers 100 topics. And when it covers 100 topics, and when you revise it 3 days later or 7 days later, you are revising the same 100 topics once again, which probably you'll never be able to revise if you're sitting alone with a book. So in my opinion, pick a when you must have written tests by now. I'm sure you must have wrote a few full length tests now by now. Pick that paper, sit and revise it, and if you find certain topics which are high weightage or highly high potential topics, open your textbook of that subject, go read it, I would say. So instead of sitting and reading a specific subject, I would say you pick a test paper, revise that test paper, and trust me, within 4 or 5 hours you'll revise 100 topics. And if you agar tumne yahi kaam, if you sit with a book, you will not be able to finish two or more than 2 chapters in that book. So yeah, this is for revision. How many hours I studied daily? It varied. 6 months before prelims, 4 months, 5 months before prelims, I was doing 6 to 8 hours a day, not more than that, because I tend to burn out very early. I know, I have analyzed. And one more thing I have to tell you. In this exam is all about knowing yourself. I've heard one of the topper strategy while I was preparing. When a topper said this, I did not understand. But eventually, in the course of the journey, मुझे एक बात समझ आई कि this exam is knowing about yourself. It is easier said than done, I know. But unless you know your strengths, unless you know your weaknesses, you cannot do anything in this exam. Unless you know what is your weakness, or what is pulling you down in this exam, or what demotivates you, you cannot clear this exam. So know yourself. The same is with know your subjects. What are your strengths, what are your weaknesses? And I'm telling you this because you asked how many hours I used to study before prelims. मैं 3-4 महीने पहले I used to do 6 to 8 hours a day. But after that, मुझे वो 100 days to prelims नंबर से बहुत डर लगता था. When it is 100 days to prelims, I usually prefer studying most of the time. तो इसे क्या होता था, I used to record. I was a member of, you all know most of the apps, Forest, YPT. I used to use all these apps to track the hours I was studying. I barely used to get up half an hour for breakfast, 1 hour for lunch and nap, and probably 1 hour for dinner. Apart from that, all day I was studying, and my post lunch slot was for CSAT, non-negotiably, because 2:30 to 4:30 I believe we have the exam. I always ensured that 2 to 5 I always did CSAT, so that my mind is tuned in that direction to solve math in those few hours. So overall, 100 days before prelims, I always clocked somewhere between 10 to 12 hours. 10 to 12 hours, and if it is coming closer, if the prelims is even more closer, for example, if the prelims is 30 days before prelims, 30 days to prelims, I used to clock 13, 14 hours also. Back in my 2021 attempt, I used to clock 14 hours almost every single day. But now that I have got a hold of the subject, I have reduced it. But I always ensured that it is minimum 10, maximum is 13, 14 for prelims. And for mains as well, minimum is 10, maximum is 11 to 12 hours. And again, I am not advocating keep counting your hours. I am somebody, at my personal level, I believe I can do better if I count the number of hours I am studying. You don't necessarily have to count your hours. For few people, quality matters than quantity. To me, quantity mattered, because if I study, I'll do quality study only. And somebody was asking about distraction about phone. Okay, distraction about phone is, with phone is one of the biggest things, the biggest challenges. Our attention span is reduced. We have what do you say, dopamine hits keep will have hit when you look at notification, that keeps you, that gives you a high and all. Being a UPSC aspirant and also a doctor, I also knew that this is not sustainable, this is not a viable way of preparing for exam. So I kept my phone away. I used to turn on the timer on my phone. I used to put my phone in my desk, and I used to ensure, even while I'm studying on my digital devices also, I used to turn on do not disturb. I If my timer is set for 3 hours, usually I used to have 2.5 to 3 hour slots. If my timer is set for 2.5 hours, I used to ensure that I never open any social media, be it WhatsApp, Telegram, anything. I did not open. I kept it away, and after 2 hours, I used to check. And I also used to reply only once my targets are finished in the day. For example, if I had a target of finishing 5 chapters in a day from 5 different subjects, I used to read the messages in my during my breaks, but I also reply to them only at the end of the day. For example, if I my targets are finished at 10:30 or 11:30, that is only when I reply to people. Before that, I did not used to reply, because उसे उसे क्या हो जाता है, कॉन्वर्जेशन प्रोलॉन्ग होता है. You talk about something, the opposite person responds something, and you want to explain a little better. So I avoided that. And YPT is something that does not let you open other apps unless you allow those permissions. I did not allow those permissions. I did not give that permission to YPT, so it does not let me open any other app. And yes, I also had that self control on myself, that I should not be opening. इससे सिर्फ डिस्ट्रैक्शन ही होता है, इससे कुछ काम नहीं होने वाला. So to turn on do not disturb on your devices. Keep that, do not give those allow other apps permission to your timers. I'm sure most of you must be using timers to study. And have that willpower and self control over yourself. क्या क्या हो जाएगा, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there is much emergency for all of us than clearing this exam at this point, because if there is really some emergency, you can take phones of your parents, you can take calls of your parents if you're staying away from your parents. उससे ज़्यादा क्या ही emergency हो सकता है, in my opinion. So yeah, this is about phone distraction. Above all, try to have self control. Even if you don't use timers, try to have self control, and I think that solves majority of the problems. See, it's a personal choice if you want to join coaching or do self study. Both can be done. I mean, if you want to join coaching, if you feel like you cannot do it by yourself, if you're completely new to the subject, again, if you feel like there are enough resources on available on Google or YouTube, I think you can do self study also. And if you are doing self study, you need to have one mentor, or probably somebody is constantly monitoring you and your preparation, so that you don't go off track. I would say it depends completely on personal choice if you want to go to coaching or do self study. There are rankers who cleared the exam with very good ranks despite doing self study. Again, should I go back home and take online coaching or stay here in Delhi? I personally think that there is, I mean, the significance of Delhi is gradually coming down, because everything is available everywhere. So I don't think there is some there. I mean, Delhi has something which no other city has. So other cities also provide good coachings now that coaching institutes have also come to these different cities like Patna, Hyderabad, Chennai, etc. I don't think people have to go to only Delhi and do it. But again, if you feel you can do better in Delhi, living in that competitive environment, nothing should be stopping you. Okay, I don't know. Sahana KN has asked something. Ethics. In ethics notes plus value addition enough for high standard answers needed? No, high standard answers are not needed in ethics. You just address the demand of the question and give enough examples for what is being asked. You need to have examples for personal, you for almost every heading in the syllabus you need to have an example, for personal level example, at administrative level example, national level example, international level example. So if you have these type of examples, I don't think there is a big challenge in writing good ethics answers, because most of the times ethics course boil down to writing good number of examples. Because all of us do this बोल बच्चन about ethics कि ये ऐसा करना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. But do you think nobody else can do that? Everybody can do that. Everybody can give that bhashan. But what makes your answer stand out if is if you have those proper adequate examples and to substantiate your answer. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं बस हवा में बातें किए जा रहे हो. No, if you have examples that validate whatever you're writing, I don't think there should be anything stopping you from getting good scores in ethics. How to improve in English? Okay, coming to English part, again, you don't have to be speaking Shashi Tharoor's English or something. Basic English is required even for writing mains answers also. You need to have basic English, uh, devoid of grammatical errors. At least that should not change the tense. And coming to fluency, if you keep reading newspaper, Hindu newspaper, as a part of your preparation strategy, and also if you keep watching English YouTube videos, for example, if you I used to watch CNN, IBN, I used to watch BBC Earth. So if you watch these channels, I think over a period of time, with Hindu editorials and Hindu articles, or whatever paper you are doing, I don't think developing English fluency should be that great challenge. And you have these apps also these days, Duolingo and all, that can help you improve your fluency in English. No, no, only PYQs are not enough for mains. That will provide you a direction in which you have to put your effort in. If you have to, if you can, for example, Naxal left wing extremism is a compulsory question. Organized crime is a compulsory question in paper 3 GS. That way, this analysis can be done only when you look at the previous year's questions. So it gives you high weightage topics, low weightage topics. That is why I'm asking you to look at previous year's questions and practice writing answers, because you'll understand what is the demand of UPSC, what sort of answers have to be written. It's necessary to have fluent English speaking for interview. Okay, if you want to give your interview in your local language, UPSC permits you to do that. So if you think developing fluent English is a challenge, you can give your interview in your local language as well. But I believe fluency in English is not a great deal if you can actually make use of the resources you have at your disposal. So I think I've answered most of the questions. If there are any questions I haven't answered, kindly let me know. And yeah, अच्छा, सिलेक्शन के बारे में बताना ही भूल ही गई मैं. तो आई वाज ट्रैवलिंग व्हेन माय रिजल्ट केम. तो मैंने डिसाइड कर लिया मैं पीडीएफ नहीं ओपन करूँगी. मुझ में इतनी हिम्मत नहीं है कि मैं पीडीएफ खोलूँ, अपना नाम टाइप करूँ, हॉल टिकट नंबर टाइप करूँ, और ये देखने की हिम्मत तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं है, नो रिजल्ट फाउंड. तो मैंने ये सोच लिया 3 दिन पहले, जब देयर वर स्पेकुलेशंस, व्हेन देयर वर स्पेकुलेशंस, सो कि आज आएगा, कल आएगा रिजल्ट. तो आई डिसाइडेड कि मैं रिजल्ट नहीं खोलने वाली. आई I'll know when the result comes, but I'll not open the PDF. I'll stay with my phone. अगर मेरा क्लियर हो जाएगा तो I'll get calls and keep people will send messages. अगर नहीं हुआ तो maybe people will call 30 minutes later or 1 hour later. So I was traveling. I was on my way home, and result was out without any prior notice, which usually happens कि 10 नहीं 1 घंटे पहले पता चल जाता है कि आ जाएगा, या फिर ऑल द बेस्ट मैसेज आता है ग्रुप में, ऐसा कुछ होता है. तो nothing happened. Suddenly the PDF is out and I was 5 minutes away from my home. I was traveling, and I had no courage to open the PDF. I called my mom. I told the result is out. She asked if you checked or not. I said I haven't checked and I will not check also. Or 5 minutes I waited, and my phone started buzzing. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Then I realized that okay, my name is on the list. Clear हो गया मेरा. Rank का नहीं पता. Nobody told me my rank by then, but everybody were sending congratulations. So yeah, that is how I got to know that I cleared the exam. And the feeling when I realized that I cleared the exam was, I wouldn't say I was very happy, I was overwhelmed, but it's a relief. It's a relief ki, क्योंकि this exam either makes you 0 or 1. There is no in between. Despite 7 years of struggle or 10 years of struggle, I have seen people leave this preparation with nothing in their hands. So मुझे एक ही डर था कि what if I remain as 0? What if I don't get anything out of this exam? I was relieved that okay, I am 1. I'm not left with a 0 in this exam. So everybody whom I met that day, all my mentors, all my guides told me one thing: you look more relieved than happy, because it's an effort of 6 years. It's not easy. It's very demotivating, and sitting back for one more year just because of one question in CSAT, or maybe because UPSC drops a question in CSAT, because I was in the border. So it was not overwhelming, not very happy, but it is very, very, very relieving, to be very honest. So that is my reaction. How to study from YouTube? You have a lot of channels on YouTube. You can use UPSC Time. You can use so many other channels that provide you with resources on YouTube. And I would say keep the content you consume on YouTube strictly confined to UPSC, because YouTube's algorithm make kills a lot of time. Kills a lot of time. You'll not know what you're scrolling. You'll not know what you're uh, watching. You'll end up spending hours together just by scrolling those shorts. So my opinion is, don't open shorts in the first place. And second thing, always there is this option on YouTube. There is a reminder on YouTube. It tells you that you have spent 1 hour or 2 hours on YouTube. So please turn on those reminders on your devices so that it won't waste much of your time. Can I give the attempt? Anshika Verma. I graduate if I'll prepare. I'm from DU. If you have prepared for mains and optional is almost 80% done and 75% of your mains is covered, I don't think that. I mean, if you are strong with prelims as well, just because you are prepared for mains, don't go and give an attempt and waste your this thing, because prelims is becoming more and more unpredictable these days. So if you're strong with your prelims as well, go and give the attempt. And if you are really prepared, I don't think anything should be stopping you. Note making: is it possible to make final notes after 1 to 2 reading? Because I find it difficult to make final notes. You can actually make final notes, and it should be very crisp. It should not be again a very elaborate notes. It should be very crisp, short, and with keywords. And the same notes you should be revising that 2 hours or 3 hours before between your GS1 and 2. You'll have those 2 to 3 hours time mains during mains examination. So if you can, you should be in a position to revise all the keywords under that one topic. That is how you make short notes. Okay, people usually have one big parent notes and one short notes. Parent notes is done during mains preparation. Short notes is before writing test series or going for mains. Yes, it is possible to make final notes. And best book for PYQ for prelims as well as mains. uh, Prelims, I followed Mrunal sir's PYQs book, and also there is this topic wise PYQs from Shunya, I believe. I did that as well. uh, I'm Himanshu. Okay, you are asking for PYQs for mains. You can do. There are so many books available. I usually did not refer to one book for mains, but I think I have researched a lot for PYQs on Google. I used to see Insights answers. I used to see Drishti IAS answers. I did not rely on one specific source for mains PYQs content. I relied on multiple sources to consolidate my preparation. Now, I scored 67 marks in 2025. This time too, I'm only getting 75. How to make this? Please? Okay, this is PK Priyanshu. I would like to answer this question because this question is something that reflects where I came from. I was also in the zone of 75, not really before the exam, but 3 4 months before the exam. I'll tell you, in my opinion, because I have almost cleared GS in every attempt, I'll tell you, people, it is not easy to score, it is not very easy to score 75 also. It is difficult to score 75, but in this exam, uh, I would say the only difference between people with 75 to 90 scores and the people with 100 to 120 130 scores is revision. Trust me on this when I say this. I have been there. One of my seniors told me that 75 to 80 or 90 is not a bad score, but it is not a good score either. It does not, I mean, in this margin, there are a lot of people. There is a lot of crowd between 70s 80s and 90s. You see the cutoff will be where majority of the people will be below that number. UPSC prelims cutoff, below that number you'll see a lot of people. So don't have, you should not be in that crowd. So all that matters is revision. Trust me, you revise before you sit for the exam. You revise your prelim, polity, economy, geography, environment, ecology, history, everything. Revise twice or thrice and go write the exam and see if you'll again score 75. No, you'll not score. Trust me on this, because all difference that makes in this exam is revision. Please revise your topics well. And yeah, because now that these single liners are relatively less in the exam, and you have 3 4 statements on one single topic, you need to revise a lot. Because even if you know 3 statements and you don't know the fourth statement, there is no scope for elimination also these days. He's giving only 3, only 2, only 4, all the 4. So you cannot eliminate. So I would say have a thorough understanding of the subject, and like I mentioned, of inquisitiveness and curiosity, and strong static as in 2 to 3 revisions of your static, proper polity, economy, those pillars of your UPSC preparation needs to be very strong. Ma'am, is Lakshmikant sufficient for mains? I would say no, it is not sufficient. You need to collect a lot of case, Supreme Court case judgments. You need to collect a lot of article numbers, or maybe, what do you say, a lot of committee recommendations and all. Usually, it does not suffice. Most of the times, for polity mains, it is usually current affairs. And read your current affairs magazines properly. Do that value addition, and also uh, have that, I would say, have that bare act with you rather than having Lakshmikant. It gives you more understanding of what is being asked and what you have to write in the exam also. बेस्ट इकोनॉमी बुक फॉर यूपीएससी बताइए. मैंने 2 सोर्सेस से किया है यूपी इकोनॉमी. मैंने ब्रुनाल सर के लेक्चर्स भी देखे हैं, और मैंने श्रीराम आईएएस का वो, आई थिंक इट वाज 2016-17 कॉपी, मैंने वो भी पढ़ा है. तो दीज टू हेल्प मी अलॉट. PPT notes good or not? If you see, there is no notes is good or bad unless you are not revising it. If every notes is bad, as long as you are revising it, every notes is good, because everybody will give you the same content, everybody is studying the same content. But if you don't revise it at regular intervals, you'll anyways not remember it. So it is not about the notes, it is about your revision, that is good or bad, that makes it good or bad. Not from arts background, should I start from 12 11? Yes, 11th 12th NCRTs are non-negotiable in this exam. So you have to start, and especially if you see previous year's questions of geography also up in prelims, and environment and ecology questions, I think I've seen a lot of questions from NCRTs. So I don't think NCRTs is something you can negotiate with. So I'll see the other questions as well. Optional strategy, again, I told you previous year's questions, writing answers, having a value addition, use chat GPT, perplexity, such kind of things. And Keep writing answers, get them evaluated, go to have a mentor, keep doing value addition, keep researching, because in this exam, that what makes you stand out is your answers, your content. If you are writing like everybody else, you'll also be eliminated by like everybody else. So try to stand out unique in your answers by doing making that extra effort of doing a little research, doing a little going a step, one step deeper into the content, that rather than the content which is explicitly given in the book, you try to explore a little more. Multi-dimensional answer kaise likhe? Okay, multi-dimensional answer is something again that should not be deviated from the actual demand of the question, but multi-dimensional answer is something that gives you a holistic opinion. And just because it is multidimensional, I've seen a lot of people who sit and write pestle approach, that sometimes breaks the flow of the answer also. On multidimensional aspect, you can talk about women, you can talk about disabled categories, you can talk about reserved categories, or maybe you can talk about how economy is being impacted, how international relations are being impacted. So multidimensional answer comes when you practice a lot. If you go sit directly in the exam hall, you will not write a multidimensional answer, because it takes a lot of time and your time will be wasted, and you'll not write all the 20 questions in the exam. So multidimensional answer requires a lot of practice, a lot of evaluation, and a lot of course corrections, and then tab jaake you'll be able to write a good multidimensional answer. आंसर राइटिंग में पॉजिटिव अप्रोच के बारे में तो मैं यही बोलूंगी कि ट्राई टू एंड योर आंसर ऑन अ पॉजिटिव नोट, बिकॉज देखो, इफ यू हैव अ प्रॉब्लम विथ, फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स टेक अ स्कीम, पीएम किसान will go talk to a farmer. He will tell you 100 complaints. ऐसा नहीं है कि there is, in fact he'll tell you more complaints than you what you know about the scheme. He'll tell you a lot. But what is the difference between you and him? You should always come with a constructive criticism. When you're criticizing something, you need to have a solution to it. Otherwise, that makes no difference between you and a farmer. So I would say, whenever you are uh, writing an answer, always try to have the approach that measures that need to be taken are have to be written, and also make a separate heading and measures that have already been taken by the government. Because for most of the challenges, I mean, in my honest opinion, everything there is a scheme in this country. So when there is a scheme in this country, you need to acknowledge that part also, that government is actually doing something, but it is not sufficient. So these are the other measures that need to be taken. So that way you not only criticize the government but also give the answers. So if you don't know the answer to a question, for example, in prelims, if you don't know, because there is negative marking, I would suggest, if you're completely unaware of the topic, try to make an educated guess. If you're not able to make an educated guess, I would honestly say leave that question. But the same does not work in mains. In mains, even if you don't know the answer, you are expected to write something relevant to the question, because if you don't write that, if imagine if you write some relevant content, you'll get 2 or 3 marks, and if you don't write, you'll get 0 marks, because UPSC mains is all about getting that 1 mark extra, 2 marks extra, right? So the same logic does not apply to mains. And now coming to interview, if you don't know something in the interview, just say you don't know. Prelims and interview stage, if you don't know about certain things, you can say that you don't know, and you can simply step back. And in mains, if you don't know also, you are expected to write. Or I got Raj Shukla sir board in interview, UPSC interview, and I have been mostly asked about my DAF only, my medical background, my hobbies, my achievements, my current job profile. I'm already into state PCS, so I have been asked about the current job profile of mine. That's been asked. It was a good experience. It felt very warm, cordial board with no grilling. Very nice people talking to you, just wanting to know about you, what you are, what you have been doing all the while, what are your struggles, what are your achievements. NCRT, what to read, what not to read based on all subjects. Should we do all NCRTs complete? Not necessarily, in my opinion. If you have done major books like Lakshmikant, I would still say give one reading of all NCRTs, because UPSC is still giving questions from NCRTs. If you actually trace back, you can see a lot of questions that are coming from NCRTs which people are not realizing because they're not reading NCRTs. So I would say, if you, for example, geography NCRTs, you have to do geography NCRTs. Economy NCRTs, you have to do economy NCRTs. Modern history of NCRT, modern history, एंशियंट मिडिवल का तो करना ही पड़ेगा. तो I would say, instead of skipping, because I'm again telling you what everybody knows, you are also you are expected to know. If you don't know, you will be that 15,001% person in the exam. So if everybody is doing something, please don't, I mean, take out some time, squeeze some time out of your tight schedule, and somehow finish it off. Even if it is one reading, two readings, just finish it off, because in my opinion, that confidence also matters. When you are marking the answer, you need to have a confidence that मैंने पढ़ा है, I know about this topic, and I'm marking it with, it's, that is when you'll be able to make an educated guess also. So I would still say, please do it with the, what do you say, do all the NCRTs, even if it is for one reading, because I've told you what are the important NCRTs already. So what else? If there is something else, I'll do. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. Is there any benefit in preparation if you're a doctor? Because I'm one to. I would say probably science and technology will be a little easy for you, and long hours of sitting and studying is something that doctor profession gives you, uh, as a learning, as a gift for the rest of your life, that you can sit for long hours and study. And again, cons of being a doctor, unless you are very strong in CSAT, you need to work a lot in CSAT, on CSAT. And depends on your optional. Again, if you are a doctor and taking medical sciences optional, I think that's a bonus. But I haven't taken medical sciences optional because I found it very vast. uh, NCRTs are non-negotiable, right? But how to approach NCRTs? There is too much to study from NCRTs. How to identify? Do one thing. There are YouTube playlists for NCRTs. I know sometimes NCRTs feel too much, कि इतना कहाँ से पढ़े, we have already done major books and all. But in my honest opinion, if you are feeling like मुझसे पढ़ा नहीं जाएगा, go sit with YouTube playlist, play it on 1.25x or 2x, and I think, and highlight, keep going on highlighting whatever you are doing, and I think that should solve your majority of the problem for NCRTs. Should we start answer writing after finishing one subject or in between subjects? It's again personal choice. Mains answer writing, you have to start, but after finishing after finishing a decent amount of syllabus, you can start writing answers. Were you practicing medicine alongside? No, after 2019, I haven't gone back to my profession. I have been preparing for civil services only. So, how many hours daily? If someone has full have 2 years, not full time. Okay, if you're working professional, I think it'll squeeze down 5 to 6 hours a day. 5 to 6 hours a day is basic. If you don't do 5 to 6 hours a day, you're out of the race, in my opinion. Again, that could be different for other people, but even if you're a working professional, squeeze out 4 to 6 hours in a day. Please tell what you prefer, online coaching or offline coaching. After I told you, it's your personal choice. When I was preparing, I did online coaching because there was COVID. Back then, when I started preparing, there was COVID, so I had to do online preparation. But again, if you feel you are somebody who can sit in a classroom and do well, I don't think there should be anything stopping you from going to online, offline coaching as well. Thank you. Do from 6th to 12th, but focus more on 11th and 12th NCRTs. Which newspaper? Okay. I follow newspapers. I used to follow Hindu, and at the end of the day, I used to read Insights का वो compilation जो आ जाता है ना रात को. I used to read it so that I don't miss anything from other newspapers as well. And maps, coming to maps, I heavily relied on Sudarshan Gurjar sir. I did continental mapping from him. I did India mapping from him. I did everything, almost everything from his playlists only. Protected area network, national parks, or rivers of India. Everything I did practice from Sudarshan sir. And apart from the static, I also did his current affairs sessions that are available on YouTube. Is there any newspaper course? I don't think there is any need to see newspaper course, but if you want to have this newspaper analysis, by the end of the day, there are so many coaching institutes that are providing newspaper analysis at the end of the day. So you can watch them and watch those in 2x, but you have to read newspaper in the morning. That is non-negotiable. If you're not understanding, or if you still need a deeper understanding, you can go for YouTube videos. What it feels after selection and I do video lecture or anything but with lecturers. Yes, yes. See, again, what it feels after selection, I'm grateful. I have a lot of gratitude in my heart. I am relieved that, okay, UPSC gave me something. I am again preparing for 2000. I'll be giving 2027 attempt, because this year my schedule is very hectic with my state PCS training and Labasna and all. So I have a lot of gratitude in my heart. And coming to the second part of the question, see, again, you are saying you are studying 6 hours without video and all. It depends again on the quality of the study you're doing. Just because you're sitting in front of the big book for 6 hours does not mean you are doing a qualitative study. So I would say analyze the quality of study you are doing. If you are doing without any distractions, completely dedicated work, and in a smart work in a right direction, I mean, you are already in a good direction. And if you are in confusion how to start, just sit and watch NCRT videos. Just sit and do PY. Just open PYQs and see, and then start reading. You'll naturally your preparation will be streamlined. How to approach environmental science, science and technology. Um, Science and technology is mostly about current affairs only. Read the current affairs magazines. Try to go a little in depth, because whatever is given in the magazines usually does not suffice. So go with the current affairs magazines and try to do your level of research also. Environment ecology, again, for me, as I come from biology background, environment is one of my favorite areas, and that is written in my interview DAF as well. So that basic inherent tendency to liking of environment, I used to mark environment answers. Right now that you're asking for strategy, do that basic Shankar ka book, do basic environment current affairs, and also try to, I would say, if you have time, if you're not giving this attempt, try to watch a few animal documentaries, or try to read the articles like 108. I used to read a lot of facts on internet about animals, plants, birds. So that way I marked that question, which was given in 2022 or 23, I believe, that which is the animal that uses a twig to eat food or something. That is chimpanzee, I believe. So these are the facts I used to read. I'm telling you, this is again the inquisitiveness, that you want to go a step ahead and know what else is there in this world that you don't know. So that is for environment. What should I leave out from Lakshmikant, especially the facts which are given in each chapter? My concepts are strong, but facts are holding me back. No, you cannot ignore facts. UPSC is also asking facts these days in polity. You see, it is asking numbers. It is asking how many people or how many times has this party won. So you cannot ignore facts. If you're finding difficulty in remembering facts, write it down, stick it on your wall, take it, stick it on on the wall of your washroom or whatever. Keep revising it, but uh, I know, I understand facts are difficult to study, but UPSC is asking if you analyze UPSC PYQs, so you have to do it. Somehow figure out a way that makes it easier for you. Should we rely on coaching notes or standard books? On any given day, standard books, coaching notes are only facilitating content for you, not the complete replacement of standard books. So I think that's it. Sociology, I don't come from sociology background. Mine is anthropology. Any sociology coaching you prefer? I don't think I'll be the right person to be answering this question. So if that is all, I think we should end it. Ma'am, I'm giving prelims this year, but I'm having a lot of problems in polity facts. Keep revising. You still have 50 days, I believe. Keep revising. If I find anything difficult, I used to do one thing. There was very tiny, very small tricks I used to follow. One is, I used to go stand in front of a world map every day for 5 minutes. I used to have an alarm at 8:30 p.m. in the night. 8:30 p.m. There are a lot of alarms set on my phone. 8:30 p.m. is that world map alarm, or India map alarm. I just go stand in front of the map and look at the map. Not any active this thing, just a passive observation of map, just understanding, because when you do this over a period of time, you'll have a very organic view of organic way of articulating the maps in your head, and I don't think mapping should be a difficult thing when you do this is my personal innovation. I felt like दिन में 6-10 घंटे तो पढ़ ही रही हूँ, 5 मिनट मैप के सामने खड़े होने में क्या जाएगा मेरा. सो आई डिड दैट. एंड oh, so that is what I'm telling you. If you're finding difficulty in a particular thing, try to be innovative, try to come up with a solution that makes your life easier. If you're having challenge with polity facts, try to write it down, keep repeatedly revising it, or discuss it with your friends. That will make it easy. See, again, if you don't know how to choose optional subject, I would say just to take up a syllabus of optional. Optional का syllabus देख लो और एक बार PYQs देख लो, and try to read 1 to 2 chapters of that optional and see if that thing is going into your head or not, because most of the optionals people find them very dry. So when it is so dry, there is no point in reading that for like for long time, because if you are not able to retain it, there is no point in reading optional. So you look at the content, look at the PYQs and see if you are able to retain, and if that is giving you some interest, because you have to spend a lot of time on optional because it is 300 plus scoring subject. So unless you have inherent interest in the subject, you should not take choose an optional. How to combine standard book and coaching notes and NCRTs all. Mm, I understand this question. Stand. You see, your coaching notes is a different notes. In my case, I used coaching notes as only as that foundation. It is not a replacement to my standard books. After I finished my coaching or my reading my notes, I come back to standard books and I'll never go back to my coaching notes again, because there is nothing coaching covers which is not there in the standard book. If it is there, I will still write it in my standard book only, but my coaching notes is never a replacement to my standard books. And what is that? NCRT's coaching notes. Yeah, I think standard books cover majority of the content from NCRTs as well. And yeah, when you're revising your test series papers or whatever the mistakes you have committed, and if you find a point which is not there in your standard books or your coaching notes, just put sticky notes or write it with a different pen in your standard books only. That is what I used to do. Thank you, Anubhav. I have to daily do online lectures. Should I write the notes or should I read from the PPT as writing mistakes? See, again, it's a personal choice. I am somebody who remembers a lot if I am writing it down simultaneously when the educator is teaching. So this is something you have to understand for yourself. If you are comfortable, if you are able to retain more while you are writing, please continue with it. Or else, if you feel that it is a waste of time, I can retain, then go with the PPT. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And thank you for bearing with me, listening to whatever I said. And thank you all for your kind words. Thank you again. So I'm ending the live stream. Thanks again.